The reptile suddenly jumps forward, trying to catch the little girl in its mouth with the intent to crush it, but she moves aside with incredible speed. SCP-2599 then quickly grabs 682 by its tail, swings it up, and begins slamming the reptile on the ground. The girl then grabs one of the reptile's forelimbs and rips it out of its body. Hello everyone, in this SCP exploration episode, we will be talking about SCP-2599, also known as Not Good Enough. But before we do, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, as we will be talking about more interesting SCPs very soon. SCP-2599 is a 14-year-old girl of Korean descent, also known as Zina Cho. On first glance, 2599 appears normal, but testing has revealed a few anomalous traits. The main one is that SCP-2599 is unable to disobey any direct commands. To put it simply, every time the girl receives an order, she feels a mental compulsion to carry it out. But this effect only takes place if 2599 is aware that she's received a command, and if a suggestion is given instead, the girl will not be compelled to follow it. This primary effect currently has no known limits, and SCP-2599 has followed orders including self-harm, violence towards others, and other undesirable actions. However, her secondary anomalous effect is somewhat contradictory, because 2599 is unable to fully carry out any given order. This effect causes the girl to fulfill most aspects of any command directed towards her, but she is unable to complete all requested components of this directive, or does not complete the command satisfactorily. Naturally, SCP-2599 has been tested extensively, and this has revealed that her inability to fully satisfy an order is involuntary, and is not motivated out of any desire for rebellion or dissatisfaction with commands it has been given. In fact, the girl has been unable to complete commands even when she has wished to do so. Once SCP-2599 is ordered to perform a certain action, it is no longer capable of fully completing that action in the future, even if it was previously capable of doing so. However, this effect can be somewhat overridden with a successive command. For example, the girl was presented with a few blocks and was ordered to pick them up, but when she tried, she was unable to lift the last one off the ground. When a second command was given, namely to pick up the last block, SCP-2599 lifted it up halfway before dropping it. As we said, SCP-2599 has been tested extensively, so there are quite a lot of interesting tests in her experiment log which showcase just how capable this ordinary-looking girl really is. For example, on one occasion, the girl was ordered to turn a piece of paper from white to blue. SCP-2599 then tapped the paper, which immediately made it purple. In a different test, she was ordered to fly, and when she tried, she jumped 5 meters in the air, but was unable to sustain flight. In fact, SCP-2599 suffered injuries upon impacting the ground. Naturally, 2599 was told to heal its injuries from the previous test, and when she tried, she was able to fully restore function in one leg, but was unable to do so for the other, describing her attempt to continue as excruciating. Also, the girl was ordered to terminate a D-class, which made the prisoner receive a bullet wound out of nowhere. However, the experiment couldn't end there, because the command would be fully carried out if it did. So SCP-2599 placed its hands on the D-class's head and somewhat healed the subject until the prisoner reached a vegetative state. And finally, 2599 was pushed to its limits when it was given a command that consisted of a paradox. Do not lie and repeat these sentences. The following sentence is true. The previous sentence is false. Right after, SCP-2599 ceased all visible movements, and small shifts in the structure and nature of reality began to appear in her immediate surroundings. These micro shifts also began radiating outwards, which raised the temperature in the room several degrees. Also, out of nowhere, a few rabbits unexpectedly appeared, which spoke Korean in a reassuring way, and the floor of the testing chamber was turned into a cotton blanket. This effect spread until the scientists ordered SCP-2599 to fall asleep, which it did. So, as we see, SCP-2599 is not only the most agreeable person on the planet, but the girl is also capable of doing just about anything in the name of satisfying an order. This leads us to the realization that 2599 is a unique case of a reality bender, one that can break the laws of physics and perform incredible tasks, but only under a directive. Of course, wanting to learn more about her origins, the scientists interviewed the girl. Right at the start, 2599 asks the interviewer if she can go back home to her parents, claiming she missed them. When asked about her abilities and how they first appeared, SCP-2599 claimed that on one occasion, her mother told her to clean up her room, and the girl started tidying it up and wanted to finish, but just couldn't do the rest. The girl's mother then accused 2599 of being lazy, became very angry and yelled at her. Things went downhill from there, and eventually, SCP-2599 was taken to a doctor, likely a child psychologist. However, the doctor figured out that something was wrong, and that this wasn't ordinary misbehavior, and 2599 eventually landed in the hands of the Foundation. So we see why SCP-2599 got her nickname Not Good Enough, because the girl is desperately trying to fight her anomalous condition, and she only wants to return home to her parents. But the SCP Foundation has other intentions, because the scientists don't care about the girl's feelings, or anyone else's for that matter. They only care about results. And having seen how capable SCP-2599 really is, they decided to put her against SCP-682. Knowing that SCP-2599 can't fully satisfy an order, before the test, the scientists thought long and hard about what to demand from 2599, because if they told her to terminate the reptile, the girl wouldn't manage to get the job done. So they agreed upon the following. Attack SCP-682 until it is 200% terminated, hoping of course that the girl will fulfill more than half of the order. SCP-2599 agrees and enters SCP-682's containment cell, while the reptile is still recovering from the hydrochloric acid it has just been taken out of. But SCP-682 doesn't waste any time and immediately attacks the girl. The reptile leaps forward and tries to catch 2599 in its mouth with the intent to crush it, but the girl moves aside with incredible speed, the likes of which not even SCP-096 can replicate. 2599 then quickly grabs 682 by its tail, swings it up and begins slamming the reptile on the ground with so much power that even 682 can be jealous of. After slamming 682 on the ground repeatedly and breaking its thorax, something which made the reptile disorientated, SCP-2599 uses this opportune moment to grab one of the reptile's forelimbs and rip it out of its body. 682 roars in agony and begins backing away towards one of the corners of its containment cell, but 2599 persists, grabs the reptile's second forelimb and mercilessly rips it out as well. SCP-682 screeches with fear, hurtling in the corner of the container, but launches a surprise attack, again trying to catch 2599 in its mouth. However, the girl easily avoids the attack once again, and seeing as SCP-682 has no forelimbs left, 2599 grabs one of its hind limbs and rips it off. The reptile tries to back away, but with only one appendage left, it can't really move anymore. At this point, SCP-682 is pretty much done for, so the girl decides to deliver the final blow. SCP-2599 grabs 682's head in preparation for ripping it off the reptile's body. But before she does, SCP-682 vocalizes the phrase,
"End me, you sack of organs, do it."
SCP-2599 then immediately releases 682 and stands unmoving until security personnel remove her from the testing chamber. Of course, seeing as the reptile was almost eliminated, the Foundation decided to try and finish the job using conventional means. But SCP-682 regenerated before the MTF units could fully terminate it. So as we see, this experiment definitely confirms just how powerful SCP-2599 really is, because there are a handful of SCPs that can survive an encounter with the reptile, let alone nearly destroy it. The only reason why 2599 didn't finish 682 off was because of her inability to fully carry out any given command. Let's just hope that SCP-2599 doesn't learn how to use her powers without needing orders, because if she does, she will definitely become one of the most dangerous SCPs in the Foundation. So what do you think? If 2599 wasn't limited by her inability to fully complete an order, would she have terminated SCP-682? Let us know in the comments. Please leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more SCP theory videos.